Students, today we will learn about the operation and maintenance of high-voltage circuit breakers in the context of outgoing feeder bay equipment. In this lesson, we need to grasp the concept, function, and types of high-voltage circuit breakers. After learning, you should be able to identify the types of high-voltage circuit breakers. At the same time, by understanding China's achievements in high-voltage circuit breaker, we aim to enhance everyone's sense of national pride. The key point of this lesson is the function and types of high-voltage circuit breakers. The challenge is that students need to master the technical parameters of high-voltage circuit breakers to better understand the differences between various types of circuit breakers. Let's watch a video. A new type of fast vacuum circuit breaker developed by the State Grid Ningxia Electric Power Research Institute recently passed tests successfully at the Zion High Voltage Apparatus Research Institute. This circuit breaker is the world's first ultra-high voltage fast vacuum circuit breaker. It significantly improves technical indicators and operational efficiency. During grid operation, circuit breakers are like dam gates on a river. When flooding occurs downstream, the gates must be closed quickly. Similarly, when a short circuit fault occurs in the grid, circuit breakers must quickly cut off the short circuit current generated by the fault. If not cut off promptly and effectively, it could lightly damage grid equipment or severely cause large-scale blackouts. Using traditional circuit breakers, the short circuit current interruption time is over 60 milliseconds. However, fast vacuum circuit breakers require only 20 milliseconds to interrupt short circuit current. This can greatly improve grid stability and power quality. Through the video, students can see that China has significant advantages and achievements in the manufacturing of high-voltage circuit breakers. Next, let's specifically learn about high-voltage circuit breakers. First, we need to understand what a high-voltage circuit breaker is and its purpose. Simply put, a high-voltage circuit breaker is a switch for high-voltage lines. It is used to cut off the load current in high-voltage lines. The core keywords of its function are control and protection. The control function refers to connecting or disconnecting working circuits based on the operational requirements of the power system. The protection function refers to the circuit breaker quickly isolating the faulty part under the action of relay protection devices when a system fault occurs. This prevents situations like arc burning. At the same time, it ensures the normal operation of the non-faulty parts of the system. In practical production, high-voltage circuit breakers need to have characteristics such as reliable operation, sufficient arc interrupting capability, automatic wreck-losing capability, and the ability to quickly cut off arcs. There are many types of high-voltage circuit breakers. Based on the arc extinguishing medium, they can be classified into oil circuit breakers, compressed air circuit breakers, sulfur hexafluoride, SF6, circuit breakers, vacuum circuit breakers, etc. Let's briefly understand a few types of high-voltage circuit breakers. Oil circuit breakers use insulating oil as the arc extinguishing medium. Based on the amount of oil, they can be further divided into bulk oil circuit breakers and minimum oil circuit breakers. Vacuum circuit breakers use the high dielectric strength of a vacuum to extinguish arcs. Currently, they are gradually being widely used in 10 kV in China. Sulfur hexafluoride, SF6, circuit breakers use SF6 gas as the arc extinguishing medium. They are high-voltage circuit breakers with excellent arc extinguishing performance and insulation capability. They have been widely used in high-voltage and ultra-high voltage systems. In particular, gas-insulated switchgear, GIS, centered around them is an important development direction for high-voltage and ultra-high voltage electrical apparatus. Later, we will focus on understanding SF6 and vacuum circuit breakers. Compressed air circuit breakers use compressed air to blow out the arc. They are now gradually being replaced by SF6 circuit breakers. After understanding the types of high-voltage circuit breakers, students need to further learn how to recognize their parameters and representation methods to know how to use them in practice. Among the parameters, rated voltage refers to the normal operating voltage that the circuit breaker can withstand during long-term operation. It not only determines the insulation level of the circuit breaker but also largely determines its overall size. Rated current refers to the effective value of the maximum operating current that the circuit breaker can continuously carry under specified environmental temperature. It determines the size and structure of current-carrying parts, such as conductors and contacts in the circuit breaker. Rated breaking current refers to the effective value of the maximum short-circuit current that the circuit breaker can normally interrupt at rated voltage. It represents the interrupting capability of the circuit breaker when closing a circuit breaker on equipment with a pre-existing fault. A pre-breakdown occurs in the contact gap a few millimeters before the moving and stationary contacts touch. This can lead to contact bouncing, welding, or even circuit breaker explosion. Rated short circuit making current refers to the peak value of the maximum short circuit current that the circuit breaker can make under such conditions. It reflects the circuit breaker's ability to close against short circuit faults and is mainly determined by the performance of its arc extinguishing device, contact structure, and operating mechanism type. Rated short time withstand current is a parameter referring to the effective value of the maximum current that the circuit breaker can allow within a specified time. It indicates the circuit breaker's ability to withstand the thermal effects of short circuit current. Breaking time refers to the time interval from the instant the circuit breaker receives the open command until the arc is completely extinguished in all phases. Generally, circuit breakers with an opening time of 6 to 0.12 seconds are called fast circuit breakers. Closing time refers to the time interval from when the closing circuit is energized until the circuit breaker contacts just touch. The length of the closing time depends on the mechanical characteristics of the circuit breaker's operating mechanism and intermediate linkages. For the representation method of circuit breakers, we only need to remember the specific meanings of the symbols in the 7 units according to the schematic diagram. Let's take an example with reference to the diagram above. A circuit breaker with the model LW6-220/3150-40. It represents an outdoor sulfur hexafluoride SF6 circuit breaker with a rated voltage of 220 kV, a rated current of 3150 A, and a rated short-circuit breaking current of 40 kA. Students, high-voltage circuit breakers are core switching devices in the power system. In this lesson, everyone must grasp its practical significance and how to reasonably select high-voltage circuit breakers. Finally, please think about the following 2 questions as homework for this lesson. That's all for this lesson. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.